What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Dialed In. We've been gone for about a year from doing this, but we finally brought it back. I have a special guest here, Josh, and we're going to dive straight into it. For those of you guys who don't know, I have an autoimmune disease. I have this immune system issue, some health issues. He has some health issues. We're going to discuss that, break it all down, and discuss like what do we go through on a daily basis? How has it affected our bodybuilding career, our coaching life, and anything related to that? But before we dive into it, I wanted to have him do like a quick 30-second summary about himself. And let's kind of go through that, man. Who are you? What do you do? And maybe at the end, talk about your health issues. So we can kind of dive in from there.
Cool. Okay. So I'm Josh. Most people know me AOA or Art of Aesthetics or whatever, but I've just been doing the bodybuilding thing since I was like, honestly, I've been into bodybuilding since I was like 12, but I've been bodybuilding since I was like 18, 19 years old. Got really, really sick last year, so I have had put that on the side for a while now, and I've just been focusing on my clients and my coaching and everything like that. So same with Cody, we're speculating it's multiple autoimmune syndrome, but we still don't really have a full answer. Kind of just been handling all that stuff on my own, to be honest, and that's when I started to actually get a lot better. So
yeah, and the unfortunate thing, and I've talked about this to you privately, but unfortunately, if you have a health issue, sometimes you are going to have to heal it on your own. And if you don't have any money to do it, you are shit out of luck. There's nothing you can do. So either way, we'll ramble on to that when we get there. But I have a list of questions I want to go over with him, and let's just dive straight into it. I'll try and keep this about an hour or so, just so you know, maybe a little bit like that. But starting from here, what keeps you motivated to train and coach people when your body is literally fighting against you? What do you feel like you are suffering with? How do you work around that?
There's this weirdest like inner confidence thing that I have. I've had it forever. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just, I know that if I can apply myself, then whatever I want to do is a guarantee. So that kind of just makes it easy. And then I've been through a lot, and you've known me for a really long time, so you kind of know a lot of that stuff too. I feel like the more that I go through, the more that I can like better see the light at the end of the tunnel when I am dealing with things. So it kind of almost is this weird mental thing now where it's like the adversity is motivating me, because I know that like there's something good coming from it, or like I can learn something from it if I can push past it, and it'll just make me better and stronger or whatever. So I don't know. It hasn't been that hard to stay motivated. It does get frustrating though when it's just like you can wake up one day and just feel completely like shit, like you can't do anything, Like it's a little bit more difficult to navigate, especially for me when I used to like work blue collar and I'm just used to pushing through.
Oh, 100%. Mm-hmm. The one thing I would say is I'm glad you never quit. I've come, obviously, mostly people in my realm who have my immune system issue, but I've talked to people, man, and they just give up. Like they don't even try. Like they have the insurance, they have the money, they have whatever, and like they don't even try. They just sit in bed and they rot away. And I've seen people who I've talked to, and then over the next 4, 5, 6 months, they kind of starve to death. They just die. Like, I feel like you could have put in a little bit more effort, but
I did get there on accident. Like I used to think that it was like depression is kind of what I was dealing with when I initially got sick, because I just felt like tired all the time, brain fog, and was just like couldn't get out of bed and just was in pain. So I didn't know what was going on yet. And I had it's weird. I had an appetite, but I couldn't keep food down at all. Like my body was just rejecting anything that I tried to eat. So I was losing a lot of weight. So yeah. I did get to that point where like even my girlfriend was telling me like, dude, if you don't eat food, you're going to die. Because I went from 250 something to 160.
Yeah. So, and tell the people how tall you are. You're not short.
I'm 6'2".
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you're 5'7",
pounds is crazy. I didn't ever think I'd be under 200 pounds ever again.
Yeah, no, I mean, not by choice, unless you're going down to, men's physique, then maybe, but nonetheless, but I was telling him when I first saw him, I was like, his face is looking more filled out. You could tell, even if you're not perfect, you're looking in a much better spot than when I saw you like months ago. That's for damn sure. So I'm glad you didn't quit. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah, but that answered everything I had to in that regard. And this is kind of related to what you just said, but how do you separate mental fatigue from physical symptoms when they're both hitting you at the same time?
I think that's just a lot of, I don't know. I don't know what is your stance on therapy?
Just like talking to someone one-on-one and getting therapy?
Yeah, just like I know a lot of people are pretty like iffy on therapy, and I used to be as well. So it's like, I mean, I think it's the same thing as like any medical field where you have good therapists, you have bad therapists. Yeah. Like the intention matters.
I've never done it, to be honest. It's just I know that the way that my brain works, it's talking it out just isn't going to help. Either I need to fix on my own, or I'm going to like die without my own. It's just I can't talk about it. It's definitely a problem I should probably fix, but I've never talked to anybody about it, you know, it just doesn't
It's
interest
different
me.
for everybody. But no, for me,
Of course.
I feel like therapy kind of helped in a way, just like being more introspective. So it's like being more in tune with myself, because I used to just ignore a lot of the issues that I had, not on purpose, but
Of
like
course.
just dissociate it, you know?
Yeah.
So now that I'm like a little bit more in tune with my body and my mind, it's like it's really easy for me to know when to pump the brakes a bit. With like mental fatigue and physical symptoms hitting at the same time, it's kind of hard to really distinguish though. Like I guess, can you give me an example?
I guess the first thing I would think of, you know, when you're in prep, when you wake up and you're just absolutely depleted and your brain's fried out of your mind, you know, that's typically mental, a little bit physical. But I guess I don't really have an example. It's just sometimes I separate, like I have physical pain. My body's telling me like, yo, stop it. I'm inflamed. I'm sore. And that versus like mentally, my body could feel fresh. My brain saying like, stop it. You know, you're not locking in.
Yeah, no,
your brain
that
fog
makes
is hitting
sense.
you. That's just how I separate. I know that's not the simplest explanation, but I hopefully know what I'm trying to say.
No, I get you. Actually, I think it's a little bit of the opposite for me. I feel like I still mentally have a lot of drive and motivation to do something and to push through it, but my body's literally telling me that I cannot do it. And then I take that as a challenge, and then I try to push even harder, and then it ends me into like another hole. So
then you go backwards.
yeah, so then it's just pretty much counterproductive, and that's a problem because it's not allowing me to recover properly, but also it ends up reassuring a self-shame loop where it's like, why can't you do that? This is something that used to be easy for you. You have no reason to not be able to do this. You've dealt with hard stuff before. This should be nothing for you. Like those thoughts start ruminating, and then that also creates a lot of negativity, and then it hurts your self-confidence overall too. So it's kind of like, I don't know if it's like, does that kind of make sense?
No, I get it. I get it completely.
Okay.
And I was thinking in my head, this is kind of relevant to your very first question about therapy. So I think the reason why I haven't talked to a therapist is because there's a lot of support groups for people that have what I have. It's literally called muscle activation support groups. So it's like I talk to people that are my age, older, younger, and like we have the same shit. We have the same shit going on, same struggles daily. So I guess in a way, that is my therapy. I get to talk to people that have what I have. I was never a fan of talking to people that don't know what I'm going through, because sometimes they're not going to understand it, you know. But again, that's just me personally. But
I
nonetheless,
you told me about that too, with like self support groups and forums that have like similar issues, and I've joined a couple of those, and I talk to people in those too. So that it does help, because
of course,
like you want to be like understood, you know, and it's a really hard thing to understand. Like you can tell somebody that you feel like shit, but they don't actually know what that means.
Yes.
Unless they're living it.
Yes. And even when you talk to a doctor, they may understand what the mechanism is, but you know, I've even talked to my 50 doctors I've had over the past 5 years, and only probably one of them is the one I like. But I talked to one, and he's like, you know, that's impossible. I was like, okay, I need a new doctor. It's not impossible. I almost die every day, you know. But regardless, yep, that covers everything for that question. And then this is kind of relevant too. But have there been moments you thought about quitting, and what pulled you back in? This could apply to bodybuilding, coaching, apply to anything in your life. You know, you get the idea.
So yeah, never with coaching. Everything that I've kind of gone through has driven me closer to coaching. I think I told you this before too, maybe like years ago, but I said, I don't want people to label me as just a coach. I want them to see me as a bodybuilder. And that was like a big thing. And then when all this happened, is like, I really had no choice but to really lean in on that. But the only time that I thought about quitting with bodybuilding, and I actually announced I wasn't going to bodybuild anymore, was when they told me that I had cancer last year, when that was one of the things that they thought that I had. They thought I had leukemia or polycythemia vera, just a blood cancer. That ended up not being the case, but that's where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I'm just going to focus on coaching. And then it just knowing that that wasn't what it was, and then learning a little bit more through my own independent studying, that's when I decided I could still definitely bodybuild. I just have to be very careful.
Yeah.
And
no
I just
trend
don't
and no
feel
orals.
right. Yeah. I don't feel right without trying to still either, because I don't think I've accomplished as much as I can.
Oh, 100%. Do you still have, well, I mean, I know you said you might retire when you found out about the whole cancer thing, but like right now, with where your health is, where your mind's at, do you ever see yourself stepping on stage 2026 hypothetically, or do you think you still need more time to decide?
I'm telling myself I'm 35 weeks out right now. So
it's a long, like 9 months, 10 months out.
Yeah. I feel like that's enough time to get my size back slowly, so that I'm not causing all of those issues with the inflammation. Hold it for a good period of time, and then start like dieting down, not looking like tired or stringy on stage. Because if I just like diet, or if I just like put on all my size, then go straight into a prep, then I'll probably lose a lot of what I put on too. So I feel
Yes.
like 35 weeks is realistic. That puts me at June of next year. And that would be the last show that I got an overall at. So it just kind of felt perfect for that too. And then if everything goes well, if I can get back to where I was, then USA's is a month after that.
Nice. Is this classic or bodybuilding, by the way?
I'm thinking classic.
Division-wise.
I used to want to do open bodybuilding, but I do think that I can be realistic with knowing my issues now. It would probably not be very smart to push myself that far.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
I feel like, I know you don't want to do men's physique, but I'm saying hypothetically, men's physique and classic, you still need to pound gear, but I think that's a little bit more attainable than, let's say, a light heavyweight bodybuilding or something like that. There's levels to this.
Well, like my body liked to sit around like anywhere between 230 to 250. My body was okay with. I never had any issues with. Whenever I wanted to do open and tried to push above that is when I started to get more too. And I'm 6'2", so if I want to be competitive in open bodybuilding as a pro, I'd have to be over 300 pounds. So it's just, I don't think that would be very smart.
Yeah, even as a healthy person, you would be playing with fire when you weigh 300 pounds, So, okay, that makes sense. I can see you in classic, man. At the end of the day, the stage is not going anywhere. So even if you do it this year and like you don't turn pro, maybe you get top 5, at least like I'm this close. I'm one off season away from getting my pro card late 2027 or whatever it may be. So yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And then everybody who I look up to, who's been good, like friends or role models to me, they tell me that classic is where I should be. Like Terrence.
Yeah.
Terrence has told me that I'd be good in classic when he used to coach me. Chris Bumstead used to coach me, said that I'd be good in classic too. Chiron knows that I'd be good in classic. So it's like, it's where I belong, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, longevity wise, I think it's where you belong too. But no, I think you'd hang, man. You're tall. Most tall guys don't go to open unless they have 320 pounds on their frame. But nonetheless, all right, getting into the next question. What message do you want other people with chronic health issues to understand about not letting it define them?
Everybody has a challenge to face. So it doesn't really, I mean, first of all, it's all relative, right? So like nobody's dealing with anything more difficult than anybody else. It depends on like what you've already been through, how you've been raised. All of these things matter too, that kind of like shape how you handle adversity. So that was something that's like, it's kind of like you got to kill your ego a little bit with it, where like you don't want to feel too bad for yourself, basically.
Of course.
So there's other people that are going through hard shit that are pushing through it too. This is just the challenge that you were given and you were presented, and that doesn't mean that you get to quit because of it.
I agree with that completely. No, 100%. And I have very similar views. I would say, I'm not going to lie, in my first beginning when I had my health issues, because this is started 2021, it just wasn't as bad as what it was now. But just always in the back of my head, I was like, man, this guy's so healthy and has everything. Loving parents, he has money, he has this. And like, this man just will not try for bodybuilding. He just keeps messing up. Like, I wonder what I'd be like if I had his health and like this. I would be a great bodybuilder. And it just kept messing with my head because I keep telling myself that. And I was like, but he's not me. And I'm not him, vice versa. Like what he's doing is irrelevant to me. So that was probably my biggest hardship in the beginning, is like, why are these people wasting their potential? And from a coaching standpoint, that is, I was like, man, like you have everything, man. Why are you not trying? And then I realized like he has personal issues at home, like his health is fine, but he has other issues that I don't have. So that's pretty much it. But I do agree with everything you said. I don't really have too much to add to it. Yeah.
Everybody has context that you're not privy to. Like you're never going to know their full situation. Only they do. So you can't really judge them for that too. And I used to be like that a lot, where I would just get irritated with people or compare too much.
Yep.
Or it's like, how come this guy has this and this when I'm doing this? Like I'm working harder or whatever. Like when I was in the coal mines, I had that really shitty mentality where it was like, I deserve this more than them because I'm doing more than them, when that's just not true. It's just, it's ignorance is what it is. So, I feel like I don't think that people that are going through stuff like what we're going through with chronic health issues, or pretty much anything at all, like if you're allowing yourself to be a victim, that's you allowing it to define you, basically.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't quit. no matter what. Do not quit.
I mean, it's the fucking hand you were dealt. You can't do anything about it. Like, worry about what you can control.
I agree with that completely. Listen to that, guys. Write that down. All right. So this is more getting back into competing, but how do you balance pushing your limits in bodybuilding with respecting your health conditions? Because I'm sure out of all people, that is hard to do when you're like, I used to be able to blast this and do this and squat 400 pounds. How do you tone it down, but still have the idea in the head that like, I want to compete. I want to be competitive. I want a pro card.
That's still something I'm juggling with. Like I told you before we started recording too, a little bit of what I've been trying to do about that. Just trying to keep myself from growing too fast again is
Yes.
already hard. Cause like mentally I just want to get there. And I know genetically I can get there pretty quick. Like if I didn't have all of these issues, if I was able to just eat food, run a cycle, go to the gym, not have any pain or get sick at all, I'd probably get all my size back in like the next month or two. But I have to make sure that I take it slow. So I think it's like the reason I picked that show and set that deadline is because it is far enough to where I don't feel like I have this anxiety that I need to like get there faster. I need to push harder or whatever. I have like plenty of time to just allow myself to go with the flow. And I'm also doing things a little bit differently this time too, because I'm coaching myself. And one of the big reasons for that is because I don't really think that there's any coaches out there that are going to be as knowledgeable as I am and what I'm dealing with.
No, absolutely not.
I'll have people like, I have good friends that can be like an eye, like an extra eye for me if I need it. Like I'm sure you'd be willing to do that. Chiron's going to be doing that for me as well. So like, I think that's all I would need. I have the knowledge. One thing that I was doing wrong was I was overthinking everything, and I was trying to coach myself how I coach my clients, which would be like keeping a file with all of their notes, all of their blood work, programming their meals like specifically for their situations and their training, getting on calls with them all the time and trying to adjust things. When I try to do that for myself, since I live with myself every day, then I'm adjusting shit every single day and it becomes really overwhelming. So what I'm doing now is like Chiron actually kind of taught me more with this. It's the intuitive approach. I'm just trying to listen to what my body wants that day. And I'm just trying to like hit certain markers like macro goals, but I'm also making good choices with the food too. I just have to be careful with food because I still like sometimes food makes me sick, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just really trying to be in tune with myself and take it slow. So I'm only eating like 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day right now, which is a lot to people, but I'm typically like 7,000.
When you're over 6'1" and 200 plus pounds, it may not be that much. Yes.
Yeah. And
did you have a thyroid issue at some point? A fast or slow thyroid? Did you have something like that?
Yeah, I have a fast thyroid.
Fast thyroid. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I have hyperthyroidism. Yeah, they don't know what exactly causes that. And sometimes I get blood work. Thyroid looks fine. Sometimes it looks elevated, but I have hypothyroidism for sure. So I just burn through food. I go hypo constantly. Just, I don't know. It is what it is. My body temperature is consistently really fucking high. Damn. My body's just always burning through stuff, which is, if you're eating as much food as I am and you're bodybuilding, it seems cool at first because it's actually like I'm processing food really well, but it's expensive and it's hard to deal with too.
Yes. And imagine, I know you're probably in a growing phase right now, but imagine like you actually hop on a full blown cycle when your body's just like a furnace, and you need your 6,000 calories. You would be in trouble. You'd be drinking, chicken shakes 4 times a day on top of your regular food. But
I used to. Did I tell you about my coal miner shake?
No, I know that you did coal mining, but I didn't know what entailed in the coal mining.
So in the mines, and this is something that I carried on after the mines too. It's just like it's like a 2,000 calorie blended shake that I had to drink 1 to 2 times a day underground because you don't get a lot of breaks when you're working underground. Sure. So I had to find ways to get calories, and it was a labor job, and I had a high thyroid, so it was like I had to eat. It was around 7,000 to 8,000 calories. I still have meal plans from back then saved in my phone. But one of the shakes that I would do was 2 cups of whole milk, a cup of oatmeal, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, half a cup to a full cup of sweetened condensed milk, avocado oil or MCT oil, and then 2 scoops of protein. And it was like 2,000 calories.
How did your stomach handle that much? Like not even just the calories, just the sheer like blend of all those things at one atomic bomb of a shake.
That's something that we don't know. And I handle it so well. And I don't know if it's because it's used to it or not, but I chug everything. I chug everything.
I think it just might be used to it, man. Because the average person cannot do that.
I didn't know that either. It was like me and my girlfriend will be hanging out. Like I think even last night we had this because it was like we'll drink a little like bedtime concoction of juice, like helps you with sleep and whatever. Yeah. And then I was going to have a protein shake, and then I wanted to have some other like more white grape juice or whatever the fuck it was. So I just slammed my protein shake, and then I slammed the tart cherry, and then I just slammed a bunch of the white grapefruit or grape juice. And she's like, how the fuck do you have room in your stomach for that and not feel sloshy afterwards? I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, you get used to anything, get used to anything.
Yeah, and I've never had a problem with eating a lot of food either. It's always been really easy for me to do. So I don't know. I just have space in there, I guess.
Hey man, it's a good problem to have, and
Yeah.
it could be worse. You could not digest anything, and you still have to try and find a way to have 2,000 calorie shakes. You puke it all up. I have a couple guys who do that.
I have a weird, I don't know if this is for sure what did it because it's so long ago, but when I was like younger and I was watching bodybuilders and how they eat and I didn't understand it much, I would think that I need to make my stomach bigger to be able to eat more food. So I would just chug gallons of water to stretch my stomach out.
Oh God.
Maybe it worked.
That might stretch your bladder out for sure too, but no,
Yeah.
that could work. I have I can't go too deep into it, but I have one competitive one competitive eater on my team. He's a bodybuilder, but in his free time he does like the hot dog eating contest and all that stuff. And he was just like telling me what he does. He does do the water thing too. He'll fast from food. He'll like pound pounds of kale and spinach and things that expand his stomach the day before. And I was like, man, you guys have this broken down to a science. This is like a peak week for eaters, and it's
competitive eaters.
What happened to you? Yeah, no, it's a full blown peak week that they do for that. It's a real sport,
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video about that with like competitive eaters. They do like have a system that they do. It's not just like I'm gonna go eat this day.
Oh no, yeah, weeks out they're prepping for it like the Olympia just for them eating a hot dog contest. Same idea,
It's crazy.
All right, getting to the next question here. All right, so what adjustments have you had to make to your diet, training, and supplementation? That could be enhanced or natural, but I'm sure that everything had to be toned down within reason.
Everything has been different for sure. So with gear, I've never had to push it very high anyways, but now my body responds to it totally differently, which is strange. So I don't know if I want to give exact numbers because I don't want people to like
probably not
run with it or whatever, but
general's fine.
So I used to have a ratio of mast and test that I ran all the time that worked really well for me. But now if I run that same ratio, it shuts my estrogen down way too much. So I can't do it anymore. So now I don't even use the master on. I'm just using the test and everything's good that way. So I don't know how to even go about, I haven't done a full cycle yet. I've just been doing cruising TRT dose for the most part. I don't know how to go about doing a cycle yet. That's going to be something that I have to kind of experiment with a little bit. But yeah, my body just takes to it all differently with that. As far as like other supplements go, I definitely have way more health supplements now than I used to, for sure. Taking like about 2 times a day, I'll probably take like 15 to 20 different pills, all kinds of different vitamins. I mean, if you want me to give you a huge list of that, I could too.
It's okay. But maybe if you could just say like maybe a top 3 or 4, that was the most helpful. I mean, I'm sure they're all helpful, but is there anything that stood out more than others? Like you added, let's say you added in like Tudka. You added this in, you felt drastically better, your appetite came back. Anything major?
Cinnamon actually, but like not cinnamon grocery store cinnamon, like actual cinnamon, which I don't think a lot of people know that there's a difference between like whole organic cinnamon, but that's helped with inflammation a lot more than I expected it to. Same with that tart cherry juice that I told you about. I drink that every night. That helps with sleep quality and that helps with inflammation quite a bit as well. Those things helped a lot. Thicker blood. One thing that I've noticed, and I've been doing this for a lot of my clients too, but naringin, do you know what that is?
Naringin. No, I'm drawing a blank what it is.
Okay. So naringin is a flavonoid found in grapefruit, and it helps break up red cell aggregation through phagocytosis. So basically like clusters of red cells. It kind of like thickens up your blood a little bit. It kind of helps break all that up. And then coenzyme
like
Q10 is a good antioxidant. Yeah,
almost like that. But okay, yeah, sorry. Coenzyme Q10.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, coenzyme Q10's helped a lot too. That's one that I've added in. I think that's all that I can think of off the top of my head. One thing I've noticed, this is like not just COVID related, this is anything inflammation related, but yeah, I've given people coenzyme Q10, nattokinase in some cases, but I typically any type of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Turmeric. Sorry, that's where I was looking for. Turmeric, fish oil, anything that can help with inflammation. People don't understand how much inflammation they have in their body until it's gone. Like when you're sore, feeling watery, just anything, brain fog, like it could add up. It doesn't just affect one singular thing. It could affect many things. And the one that has helped me, and I didn't know much about inflammation until I got it done, it's called EBOO, the EBOO therapy, where like they take your blood out, clean it, put it back in. So I got that down. I want to look into that too.
Oh yeah, it's hard to find. You might have to fly out somewhere to get it, but it's EBOO. So it's probably 80% dialysis almost. It just doesn't make you feel as dead after dialysis. But they take one needle, put it in your left arm, suck all your blood out. They clean it. It goes through a filter. It catches anything from heavy metals, toxins, to mold, which is why I got mine done. I live in a moldy house and didn't know it. They cleans it, puts it back in your other arm. Now they have what's called a catch bucket. And pretty much it's known as they catch inflammation in it. And like, it's just this weird color thing. So they'll even take it, they'll send it to the lab and they'll put it under a microscope and show like what came out of your blood when they filtered it. And mine was metal, a bunch of other things. They're like, this is the inflammation I see for like 80-year-old patients. Why do you have this at like 29? Why do you have this in your 20s? Like, this isn't normal. And then when I told them why I was there, they're like, oh, okay. We see that now pretty often. So yeah, you catch COVID, you're in trouble. But either way, yeah, EBOO is the most extreme one, about $1,200. Typically doing it 3 times will cover your whole body 3 times over a year or 2. I'm doing it once. If you want something easier, it's called ozone therapy. That's about $200, $300. It's just not as evasive. They don't take as much blood, and that would be a good starting one. But my brain fog was gone. Any of my long COVID symptoms, gone. It was amazing.
Did intravascular for the ozone?
Intravascular?
They did?
What does that refer to?
Like, did they do it in your vein?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Wow.
In the vein. Yeah. Yeah. It's a giant needle. They put it in your vein. They suck out your blood, put it through. It's just like dialysis. It's just less evasive than dialysis, but it's just like dialysis. Yeah.
I've got
the ozone one, which is the
joint
weaker
inflammation.
One. Yeah. It works for anything, man. Like anytime and you'll see it. If you Google it, like it's super popular now, but in my area, there's San Diego, Orange County, and LA. I know 3 places that do it. And that's it. It's just not super popular because not a lot of people know about it. But yes, I will swear by it. I felt so different after. So
yeah, it's not well studied or researched is what they say. But I think it's just that the pharmacy companies don't know how to make enough money off of it yet.
Oh, 100%. It's all private clinics that do it too.
Yeah.
And
that's where I get it done.
Yeah. And why I chose to get mine was she's an ex-immunologist. She was an immunologist in San Diego for all her life. And she wanted to do privately. And like now she's very helpful, super knowledgeable. Right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. How do you handle the frustrations of setbacks like flare-ups, fatigue, medical restrictions? What do you do for any of that? It could be how it affects you mentally, how it affects you physically. What do you do to combat it when you're just not feeling 100% that day or that week?
Honestly, it's still something I'm trying to figure out too. I noticed that I like very subconsciously just start shutting down. Like I get a little bit more negative.
Mentally.
I feel like because I'm self-aware enough to keep myself from being a victim, but then also it's like what happens is like I said, those self-shame loops that I was kind of talking about earlier too, that stuff starts to kick in a bit because it's like I want to push harder and I feel like I'm wasting time if I can't. So dealing with the flare-ups is a little bit discouraging for sure. But every time I deal with one, I am able to kind of think like, okay, every time I have a flare up, I figure out something to do about it. It's not as severe and I'm able to like mitigate it a little bit better. So like each flare up is a little bit easier to handle. It's almost like I'm learning.
When you have a flare up, what does that consist of? Like my flare up is like, I can't breathe. That is my flare up. What is your flare up when it's agitated?
It's like really, really bad pains and aches throughout my whole body, mainly like certain joints. And then really bad brain fog, almost no capacity for focus whatsoever. For whatever reason, I just cannot get myself, no matter how hard I try, I cannot get myself to focus on anything at all. So then that's really stressful too, because I know that I need to, I have a lot of shit that I have to get done no matter what.
Oh, 100%.
And then just really, really, really bad fatigue. Like I have a hard time getting out of bed. I just get nauseous constantly. I almost throw up or do throw up all the time, and my body will not keep food down.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a flare. Yes. That would be a acceptable flare. Okay.
And I'll get like worse twitching too. Like the neurological stuff I was telling you about, like the little random jerks and stuff, they happen more. Some of that could just be from like, I feel like it's a lot of just the chemicals, like dopamine deficiency. And then if I'm not able to eat food or absorb nutrients, then I have nothing like to kind of help my body function either. So yeah, it's just a bunch of shit going on. For
anything with dopamine or anything related to that, have you ever looked into LDN, low dose naltrexone? Have you heard that before?
No, I'm gonna write that down too, though.
Yeah, it's literally called LDN. So it's actually something I'm adding back into my regimen as well. But it's good for inflammation. It's good for anything from Hashimoto's to autoimmune diseases. It's good for anything. There's a lot of research behind it now. It's very popular, and I'll discuss it with you off camera. But yeah, just look it up. It's LDN, low dose naltrexone. It's good for like a good list of 50 different things, and they don't understand why it works for all these things. It's almost like a Narcan pill, but it's like 1/500th of the dose. Like it just is very minimal amount. You get this really
Really?
weird rush of energy. But yeah, that's what I'm supposed to add next week to get my immune system to calm down even further. Worked really well last time. But yeah,
I
something
wonder
you
if
can
that
look
helps
into.
like people with ADHD as well.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, the things it helps with don't make any sense. It could go from this out of pocket disease over here to what I have to someone that's Hashimoto's. Like it's all over the place of what they give it to you for. But it's cool. You know,
I
it's
could
very
see.
cheap.
I mean, if does it affect? Is it like for your endocrine system specifically, or do you know what mechanism of action it's using?
No idea.
Because like all this stuff is so heavily regulated through the endocrine system, and I could see that being why it would help with dopamine and also help with like Hashimoto's or thyroid issues in general or whatever. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, I guess I was just confused when they first introduced it to me, and I was trying to figure out how something that they give someone that's overdosing on an opioid, they give that this, and how is that relevant to us, and why does it help us? But I could say that I felt very happy and jolly for a couple hours. That's for sure.
Damn.
You feel like a rush, and it goes away. You get used to it, but it's like
Yeah.
it feels like you took pre-workout for the first time. You feel very like whoa, you know, and it's a low dose, a very low dose.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it more off camera because I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I couldn't go too deep into it, you know, didn't know what's allowed. But all right. Let's see here. How has your suffering or resilience shaped you the way that you coach others? So not you on you, just what you're going through. How does that affect you? How you treat others, how you coach others, interaction with others. This could be your girlfriend, clients, whatever it is. What would you say?
So something that I've been doing more lately, and I don't advertise it because I'm not a medical professional or whatever, but like going through the system in the way that I did and meeting a lot of the people that have dealt the same things that I have, I'm glad that I have the base of knowledge that I do have, because I do get people that hire me that have like these long standing issues that they've never been able to get help for. And I'll build them kind of like a document that goes in chronological order of everything they've dealt with for however long they can tell me, all of their blood work records that I get from them or that they've given to me from the past, everything that I've done and things that I've noticed and taken note of that have helped them. And then I have them take that to their doctors so they can get a proper diagnosis, and I tell them what I assume it is. So it's bring up Hashimoto's because I've helped people get diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I helped somebody get diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma not too long ago. I've helped people deal with like these kinds of issues because I mean, Addison's is one that a lot of people get. I don't know why adrenal insufficiency is so common now, or maybe that's just because they come to me and I figure that out for them. But
Yeah.
I've helped people with these kinds of things, and I just have a lot of care and I'm very intricate with the way that I coach clients for sure because of all of this. And I have a larger base of knowledge now to do it with.
Oh,
So
100%.
yeah,
You should advertise that. You should advertise that more, man. You know, because I didn't know, and I follow most of your stuff. But yeah, no, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I mean,
somebody out there that would need what you have.
I'm sure I will naturally, but I haven't posted on social media much at all in the last like year. So I'm going to be getting back into doing that. So it'll come up naturally because I don't like direct advertising anyways. I like to just get on there, give some informational content or talk about stuff, and then people come to me for coaching just pretty what would be the word? Organically.
No, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And the clientele that reaches out to you from that would probably understand what they're signing up for before they reach out to you, you know?
Yeah. And I have good connections with people that do have these medical degrees that if I have permission from the client, can go talk to, just in case, like I want more insight as well. So like I have a good network of people that help me with this kind of stuff too. But that's one thing that I definitely do for people. But with all my other clients too, I'm very intricate with note taking. I just feel like it's much more important to track things than I initially thought it was. Because like for me, I have really bad working memory issues, which basically just means like things don't stay at the front of my mind. I remember them, but they're not always right there.
Yeah.
And because of that, I like to just take a lot of notes on my clients, and it helps me figure things out for them. Like I had a guy who was having issues with digesting food. We were doing everything that I would typically do for somebody to figure it out. His case was a little bit more unique. He ended up telling me that he had alcoholism when he was younger. So I found out that he has so much scarring on his liver that he doesn't process liver glycogen well. So I cut out all fructose, no fruit and veggies that have fructose. And now he digests food perfectly.
You probably just saved that man's life too. And if you didn't save his life, you saved his well-being, which that is his life.
He said it made a big difference. And then also it's like people that don't pay attention to like gut inflammation, or people that aren't well versed in like nutrient absorption. The amount of progress that you can make when you dial that shit in is crazy. he changed completely within like 3 to 4 months after we figured that out. And now he didn't even come to me for bodybuilding. He wants to do a bodybuilding show, and he absolutely could do a bodybuilding show. So yeah, I'm glad that I know what I know, and I've dealt with what I've dealt with, because it helps me help people better. I just, taking notes is a big deal though, because anytime I get a check-in from a client, I can refer back to all of that.
Yes, I do the same thing. And I'd say maybe as I became more open about what I was going through over the past maybe 16 months, I do get a lot more people in your case too. Mine's more so autoimmune diseases, any type of histamine intolerance, anything like that, just weird digestion, bloating, whatever. But yeah, I have a lot of people that like, they hire me solely for that. I was like, you don't need a bodybuilding coach? Like, no, I have a histamine intolerance. And the doctor said it's in my head. You gave me this prebiotic, probiotic, postbiotic, and these digestive enzymes, and this like blah, blah, blah. I give him a protocol, and he's like, I've been able to use the bathroom perfectly and not puke and be all, acid reflux for the first time in my life. And I'm like 35. Yeah. So yeah, man, it's unfortunate that you can't go to your doctor for just general help sometimes, like it's just not their specialty. But
yeah, it sucks. I love that thing. I think it's because doctors are specialists. So they're not system thinkers, they're symptom chasers. And that's why they usually go the allopathic route, which is prescribing medication. Yes. And I feel like holistic route works 9 times out of 10 if you actually look at the body as a whole functioning system.
Yes. Not everybody needs an antidepressant. I've been offered antidepressants probably 20 times in the past 5 years. I'm like, but I'm not depressed. I'm unhappy, but that's not the same as being depressed. Those are two different feelings, But yes, they get that commission, bro. You know why they prescribe it. But either way. Okay, so how do you stay mentally stable when your health makes your goals unpredictable?
I feel like you just have to learn how to ground yourself a little bit. You have to be really good at that self-talk. I think everybody has negative, intrusive thoughts at times. And the way that I try to phrase this for people so that they can better understand and get over it is like, a negative, intrusive thought could be something like, I don't know if, what is another word for it? Like offing yourself is like a negative, intrusive thought, right? That some people deal with when they have a lot of depression. I don't 100%. Think you can say the S word on platforms. You
cannot.
But
you can say what you said, yes.
So negative, intrusive thoughts like that, for example, like you have to think about it like this. You don't need to identify with every thought that you have. You can just observe it. So if you're like sitting on the front porch at your house and you see a white car drive by, you cannot control that happened, that the white car crossed your eye line, but you have every single bit of control as to like how much energy you're willing to put into that. You can be paranoid about it if you want to. You can wonder why they're stalking you, if they're looking for you, like whatever the hell. Or you could just be like, okay, a white car passed by, whatever. That's what you got to learn how to do with your negative, intrusive thoughts too. You can't identify with them. And then over time, it gets a lot easier to reroute those negative, intrusive thoughts into more positive things. But it is just like a conscious effort at first. You have to be actively doing the work and rewiring your brain for that kind of thing.
Yes, that was funny enough. I've talked to more doctors than you could ever imagine. But one of the first things they teach you is called brain rewiring or brain retraining. And it's pretty much just to calm you down. Because I can honestly say, I broke out when it first started happening a little over a year ago. I would eat something, get full-blown anaphylaxis, and like I'm just sitting there crying like, what the hell, bro? Like, what do I do here? Like, I had the same meal 10 days ago. Like, what do I do? I know our health issues are different, but it's like, what exactly do you tell yourself? So like now, let's say I had a bad reaction 20 minutes from now. I'm unhappy about it. I know that if I don't fix it, I'm going to die, but it's like my brain is so numb to it. I retrained my brain to just be numb to it,
Yep. And you got to be careful with that too, because you can numb too much.
Oh yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah, I've gone that far as well.
One time, won't do it again.
It's a balance for sure, but it's like, I think it's trial and error. I don't know. I went the other end too. And then I was like, I don't think I care about anything anymore. And I need to reel that back in because I was pretty anodonic for a while. Do you live with your girl? Or do you live by yourself? I live with her.
Yeah, because I was going to say that probably helps too. I know it's not perfect, but I'm sure getting some outside insight from somebody could be helpful,
It's been more helpful now. Yeah, we've been living together since April.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if anything goes bad, at least you have her there to save you. That works.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly.
Right. But no, that's pretty much it. And I would say the same thing too. I would definitely say my mindset in the beginning and the whole brain retraining and just going through that. But I mean, it's like anything else. You learn how to be numb to it or control it. There's not really much else you could do about it except sit there and be depressed. But okay. All right. So what's the hardest part about staying positive when your body is breaking down in front of you or just not performing the way it should be? What do you feel like is the number one aspect? Is it self-doubt? Like I'm never going to be able to be what I used to be? Is it just I don't want to do this anymore because I don't feel like
Dude.
my normal self? What do you feel like is that number one struggle?
It's so weirdly the opposite of that. And I didn't used to have, like, I've always had confidence, especially when it comes to like bodybuilding, that I can do very well at it.
Of course.
But like it used to just, like I said, if I apply myself, it's a guarantee. Whatever I need to do or whatever I want to do, I can make it happen for sure.
Yeah.
So when my body's not responding the way that I want to, it's just frustrating to me because it's like, I know that I can and will get there. I just don't want to deal with this challenge right now to do it, if that makes sense. So it's like the confidence is never gone still. It's just like, oh, this again. Okay, great.
Yeah, no, that's not a fun time. But I guess, has there been one instance that it was harder than others to bounce back from it? Or have they all been relatively similar? I mean, obviously, I'm sure in the beginning it was different than what it was now.
Honestly, it's not even like from being sick. It's from more like around the stuff that I was dealing with in 2021, 2022. So I lost 2 of my closest friends.
Oh, shit.
And like with all that, and I lost one of my best friends that actually got me into bodybuilding and I owe a lot of my life to. I lost him the day after I lost 2 family members.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, so
that'll affect you mentally.
That was very, very discouraging. And that was a period of time where it was like, and it was right after my other friend had passed away too. So when all of that was going down, I completely shut off and I didn't go to work. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't eat food. I didn't do anything for like months on end. I let myself get sent to collections. I didn't pay any bills. I did nothing.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. That was the only time that's ever happened. And I was able to get myself out of that hole too.
If you could survive that, man, what else could be challenging? You know, not knock on wood, but what else could possibly be more challenging than that particular instance? Probably.
Well, that's like one of the things I refer back to. I can think of things that I've gone through and I can be like, okay, but I'm here now. And I've been able to do this since then. It's like, I'm always going to be okay.
Yes.
As long as I don't give up. The only way, so everybody's going to fail in their lives multiple fucking times. That's not a bad thing if you continue to fail, but you're not fully failing unless you give up.
100%.
And a lot of people give up too soon. Like, it's going to be hard. It is. But like, think about it. There's people like, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. is a pretty easy example to give of somebody that's dealt with a lot of shit in their lives and they just didn't give up and they ended up pursuing their dreams and succeeding. He was an addict for a long time. He didn't have like a real name for himself or anything until he was like late 20s, early 30s or something like that. Or he was like later in his life. Or if you want to go like the bodybuilding route, how long did it take John Meadows to finally get a pro card? He didn't give up on doing it though.
Probably quite a long time. I don't know the amount of shows, but it wasn't short.
It was like 15 to 20 years of bodybuilding before he got a pro card, something like that. I could be wrong about the exact time frame, but I know that it was
long.
Yeah.
it was his whole career. I do know that.
Yep. So the only way that you can actually fail is if you completely give up. I just don't have that. That's never been something that crosses my mind, is just completely giving up, except for like, I wouldn't even say that I gave up when I was dealing with all that stuff either. I was just dysfunctional.
Of course. Giving up would just be you sit in bed all day and do nothing. No work, you don't eat. You just sit there and just cry yourself to sleep every day. That's how I'd consider giving up.
Yeah. And when I was dealing with all of that stuff, it was more just like, it was a defense mechanism, I feel like, where it was like my mind was trying to protect me by shutting me off so that I didn't have disappointment anymore.
Makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I'm glad you bounced back from that first before I say anything else. I had one question. This is something that I struggle with personally, but do you have trouble being around people that are not positive? So let's just say like when I have negativity going on my own health issue, I promise you, if this person is like, whether we've been friends a year, we've been friends 7 years, if like they're just always around me with a bunch of negativity, I can't associate with them anymore. Have you had a relatively good circle around you that's positive? And if someone's negative, will you cut them off? Do you tell them like, yo, chill? How do you approach that personally?
I'm pretty careful about the people that I keep company with for that reason, because I do feel like I'm going to give you like a spiritual standpoint with this, because I'm not necessarily like organized religious, but I do consider myself very spiritual. So I feel like the other energy that people are presenting to you, you can feed off of. And I feel like that can go good or bad. So if you have a lot of negative energy around you from somebody, that can affect you negatively. You can try to let it not affect you, but it's still going to get into your head a little bit. You need to keep positive energy around you. You want to have people that fill you up, not people that drain you, you know? So for me, it's just, I'm careful about who I keep my company with. And that's Chiron's one of my closest friends. And he's the person who has like, he's very spiritual as well. He's always like a very positive energy to be around. He's always very uplifting to be around. That's the kind of people that I choose to spend my time with, or like conversate with, or like with you too. Like when you and me are talking, we can talk about our hardships or our adversities, or like just kind of check in on each other, knowing like what we've got going on.
And it's a judgment-free zone. You could tell me anything and I can tell you anything. Who are we going to tell?
We never complain, dude. Like when you ask me how I'm doing, or when I ask you how you're doing, it's always the same thing. Oh, this is like hard right now and this and that, but this is going really well. I'm doing good with this still. I'm moving in the right direction with this, or like this isn't getting any worse right now. Like there's always positive energy in what we're saying, where we can acknowledge that we're dealing with stuff, but like we're not victims of it.
Of course.
That's the kind of energy that I choose to surround myself with. So yeah, when people are negative around me, it's really hard for me to deal with, because I do absorb that. But not only that, I feel like I have to be responsible to help them and change them and try to uplift them. And that's very, very hard to do when it's somebody that doesn't want to elevate their energy at all.
I agree. I usually give, this sounds terrible. I'm going to be bluntly honest about it, but I usually give people maybe 1 or 2 strikes. After that, I won't help you again. You know, like they could reach out to me and I'll try and help them. But in terms of me offering them, if they don't listen, or like they're just this most insanely negative person, it's done. I can't do it. I got a strike system. You know, I can't chase someone down to make them want to do something they don't want to do. Like you said, 100%.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's just, you got to protect yourself. And if they end up coming out of that negativity in their lives later on, I'm sure that you would accept them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. If they came back positive, then yes. But in terms of like short term, no, I can't. I just can't do negative people, man. I don't know what it is. It's just always been a problem I've had. Just everybody around me is so positive. And I don't mean like yes, man. I'm not talking about people who are just like yes to everything I say. Just they're happy, jolly people. They're all chasing their dreams. And I love it. You know, I'm blessed to have friends like that.
You are who you keep your company with. I feel like that is just really important. Like, how can you find yourself in a motivated environment when you're around a bunch of people that are bitching about their lives?
Exactly.
And they're complaining about it, but not doing anything about it.
That last part, yes.
Yeah.
I could deal with you having issues, but if you purposely continue doing the same thing that got you in that same situation. But one thing before I ask you this next question, just because I've met a lot of people and I coach a lot of people, same as you, why did you not turn to drugs, alcohol, just anything that the average person would choose to numb their pain? You know that's like the number one. Most people don't go to the gym when they're depressed. They drink, they eat, or they drink alcohol. That's usually the go-to. Why did you not do any of those?
So my mom was never really around when I was younger, because she was like heavy into, like, she was an addict. She was not good with all that stuff. So I barely know her. And I feel like I have this weird animosity against that kind of thing anyways, because of that. So it's just and I've just never found interest in it either. I never even smoked weed until I was 22 years old for the first time. And that's when it was prescribed to me. And I did notice that it does help me. So I do it from time to time. But other than that, I just don't have I don't like falling into vices either. I'm very like adamant in proving to myself that I don't need to rely on anything. So even when I was prescribed Adderall for ADHD, I would always stop taking it because I would hate that it helped.
Oh, damn.
So I just don't like using things at all. I just don't like using things. I want to be able to be like fully self-sufficient. So I just never had a vice. And then I would always find healthy vices too. Like when I was sick, I was doing like the music production stuff. That was like a really good way for me to like lock out and kind of like put my mind to something. And it's like, I don't know, it's kind of a cool experience too. I don't really get what I'm very unproductive. And I feel like drugs and stuff like that are very unproductive. I think that they can be used productively. I don't think that people know how to, oftentimes, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just never been that way. And then when it comes to like alcohol, I just have never given a shit about alcohol I don't know why. I just don't care about it.
I can't speak for anybody else except myself, but drugs, no, never interest me. Alcohol, maybe got drunk 3 times in my life, puked every single one. Yeah, just puked my brains out. I don't know, man. I have I don't know how to word this, but I have trouble how do I say this? I don't like not being in control all the time, if that makes sense. Like, you know, when you drink and like you do something, like you're in an altered mind state. I can't do it. I don't like it. I was like, this is not me. I'm not a raging, angry person when I'm drunk. And like when I was drunk, I was unhappy. Nauseous, mad at everybody. I was like, this is not my true personality at all.
I want to be coherent.
Yeah, but there it is. Coherent.
What I've learned from the few times that I have drank is I'm always coherent anyways. And it just makes it a little bit harder for me to stay fully grounded. And I don't like that feeling because it makes me feel like I'm holding onto a thread. So I just don't like that feeling. And also for me, just with my metabolism, it takes a ridiculous amount of alcohol for me to feel anything from it. And if I don't continue
shit.
up with it, then I'll sober up.
Yeah.
So I hate the taste of it because I have like texture, like sensory issues and stuff like that. So like I can't stand it. The only times that I've drank is when like my friends have wanted me to, because I've never done it before. Like the last time that I really got drunk was New Year's in like 2020 probably. And it was with my best friend, Sean.
Quite far.
Yep. My best friend, Sean, he's the one that I had unfortunately lost a year after that. But he'd never seen me drunk before. So, and I turned 21 around that time. So it's like, I'll try. I drank so much, and I was sober within 30 minutes of stopping, but I still got like really, really, really sick.
Oh, I'm sure. Just because you're not drunk doesn't mean your liver didn't take a beating along the way of that happening. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad that's that. I don't know if you believe in this too, but I always had this weird idea. I would never take a drug unless it was beneficial to me. So like I never drank, never did drugs, didn't even smoke weed, never interested me. But testosterone, steroids, if I felt like I was going to achieve something and it was going to make me better at something, I believed in it. Nootropics, if I ever needed to lock in for the next 6 hours and like design a book, I believed in it. But that was pretty much it. I would never take something just to feel good for a couple hours. It just, my brain wouldn't let me do that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I kind of mean. It's like there's a responsible way of using it, and then there's a way of abusing it. And most people go the route of abusing it because they're chasing a certain feeling from it, or it is a vice. Like a lot of people, I'd say like neurodivergent people struggle with addiction the most because they have that dopamine deficiency and they're trying to seek that dopamine in any way that they possibly can. And they end up becoming very dependent on these drugs because of it too, because that's the only thing that's kind of giving them that release. And it's like similar with depression. If you're not getting a dopamine release off anything, then you just feel like shit all the time. You're depressed and you're going to do anything you can to not feel that way. Same thing with people binge eating. You have dopamine receptors in your stomach.
Yes.
So
I was going to say, that's probably why we're in business. We have a lot of clients that go through that 100%.
Exactly. So it's like, I'm just glad that I've never fallen into that and I'm able to find healthier vices. And then if you use things responsibly, like testosterone or like nootropics or anything, even caffeine, you could throw that in there. Those things are very powerful tools, but they shouldn't be things that you rely on. You should be able to function well without them.
Yes. People that need 1,000 milligrams of Starbucks caffeine every morning just to function, definitely you need to fix that. You know, I have dozens of clients who are like, oh yeah, I haven't gone under 1,200 milligrams of caffeine a day in like 3 years. I'm like, well, you just said you had high blood pressure and you said your doctor said you're going to have a heart attack. You know, you probably change that. And when they detox off that caffeine, their brain is fried. They cannot think, cannot function, nothing.
If you're a neurodivergent or you have like ADHD, autism, OCD, whatever it is, and you are like heavily relying on caffeine, you got to stop doing that too, because like you already have ebbs and flows with your dopamine. And if you are feeding it caffeine, then you are going to make those much more dramatic. You're going to have way worse lows and you're going to have way more intense and impulsive highs. And that's not good for you either. And it's just like it's a Band-Aid is what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. And there's no better way to word it. That pretty much summed it up pretty well. Last couple questions and we are done. We got about 10 minutes left if that's cool with you. Only a couple more topics. And then if there's everything you want to ask me, feel free. But yeah, this is more of a spiritual question. I want to leave one for you. But do you feel like your health condition gave you a mission or something bigger than just bodybuilding?
For sure. Not even specifically the health stuff. I think I've told you this before in the past too. But I wanted to always have a nonprofit mental health organization, just with all the other stuff that I've dealt with in my life, and like knowing that getting a good therapist or psychiatrist or whatever is extremely expensive, and getting a good one in general is really difficult to do.
Oh, of course.
Because like same thing with like psychiatry, there's going to be ones that are just going straight to the prescription pad, and that's not the right thing to do in my opinion 9 times out of 10. Or like properly coaching your patients on how to use this medication that you're prescribing to them as like a tool to help them, but not something to rely on for the rest of their lives. So I wanted to do that. Now it's like, I don't really know what I'm going to do about it yet, but after dealing with all the stuff with the medical industry and insurance and everything with what I've been dealing with, and literally feeling like they're just waiting for me to die so that they don't have to do anything about it. It was like
relatable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you probably know what I mean with that. I mean, I was going to like 6 different doctors every fucking week, and they're like, I can't order this test until we get this test. Or I got denied my first lymph node biopsy because I looked healthy, because they were ignoring all the context of like everything else I had going on, but I had a 6-pack still. Like this was after I'd already
maybe
had
you just
surgery.
bodybuilder for the past decade and you just genetically have muscle that's not going to go anywhere. You know, ever think about that? No, doctor?
It's like,
no.
That was like when I was like 160 pounds. I'd just gotten surgery on my kidneys. I felt like shit all the time. I still couldn't eat food. I was still dramatically losing weight at like a scary rate. And they're like, oh, you look healthy. We're not going to do the biopsy. So then I had to go somewhere else or whatever. Like just that kind of stuff has got me like, I really want to think of something that I can do to help people that are dealing with the same stuff. And right now in a small scale, like what I told you, I'm already doing for clients who have these issues is I'm kind of like building them a document to take to their doctors so that there's more context for the doctor to look at where they like, it kind of keeps them from being able to just order test after test after test and kind of prolong things and they get a full picture. I think that helps a lot, but I want to do something bigger. I just don't know what yet.
I mean, I'm trying to think what you even could do. I mean, obviously like opening your own clinic, but that's not something you could just do overnight. And I don't think I've told you about this yet, but I'll fill you in super quick. So I'm dropping my own peptide company. I've been designing this for quite a long time. I know you were a peptide company for a while too. So it's going to be like that. So I'm going to have the normal compounds, 0 SARMs, because I don't believe in them, but I'm going to have health compounds. I'm going to have nootropic compounds and just things that I use myself, my clients use, my family uses. And like my dream is to take whatever money I can make from that and eventually open a clinic. And that clinic could be just, you know, let's say a normal clinic like Transcend Merrick, that style, but maybe find a way to deal with more autoimmune patients or deal with people that need to get EBOO in that clinic. That's my dream. So if I could do it, it's a dream. But, you know, something like that, man, it's got to have a dream and figure out how to do it.
Yep. I think I have a goal, but I don't have a clear path for it yet. But I do also believe it'll come to me as time goes on, as I learn more and as I continue doing what I'm doing. So I think my first priority right now is getting back into social media and growing my audience again. So that way I have more power behind what I want to do because I've been off of that for a long time. So
got to be consistent, man. You know, I mean, and I'm not even saying about this from like a making money standpoint, but it's like, if you want to grow your clientele, you want to get your message out there and help people, then do it. You know, it's unfortunate that sometimes you will get shadow bans. If I, depending on what words I use, I'll get shadow banned on TikTok instantly. If I say the wrong thing, the video get 100 views. So you just got to watch out what you say. You can't like blame doctors. You can't do this. It's unfortunate, but it's how it goes.
Well, I almost don't even care. I think that's part of why it's difficult for me. There's a couple things. So I've been kind of enabled to take as long of a break as I do because I am established enough in the bodybuilding industry where I still am getting plenty of applications.
Yes.
Like whether it be word of mouth or like whatever it is, people kind of know who I am since I've been around for a while. So I've still been good business wise. And then I don't care about status as much as I used to. I don't care about growing a big following or getting a lot of likes or getting a lot of views. I just kind of want to help people. And it makes it hard because it's like, if I don't have that motivation of like, I need to make this hard hitting video so that I can get a lot of likes and views. Like I'm trying to find a new way to kind of motivate myself into it, I guess. But I just don't care about those numbers as much as I used to. And yeah, I just need to get back into it. I was telling one of my clients today that you're actually the reason that I started doing social media. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I remember you I feel like you mentioned it to me on an actual like TikTok or Instagram live we did like 5 years ago or something. Mm-hmm. I think you had mentioned that.
Yeah, because I remember like you and me were friends before I started posting, and you kept telling me that I should post, and you would literally just say shit like, even if you just post your physique, you'll get a following, which back then was probably literally true. Not true anymore, I don't think.
No, probably not. But at that time, though, when there was literally 45 fitness people on all of the TikTok platform, yes, it was me. Coaching wise, it was me and JPG. That was pretty much all there was for coach. I had no competition. So from a bodybuilding standpoint, it was Ryan, Alex Eubanks, the other Flores from Rise, like all these other guys, Brandon Clark. Like there was like the same 30 people you see nowadays, but that was it. That was all there was.
Yeah. So I think that's, I mean, coming full circle here, doing this with you, it kind of has me wanting to go back into it again, but it's kind of funny to think about.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really do it for, I mean, that sounds crazy as I own a damn Lambo, but it's like, I don't really do this for money. Like it's an outlet for me to talk. You know, if I just sit home and like feel half dead all the time, like my brain is going to drive me crazy. So like I have to work on something, whether it's client work, whether it's designing something, I have to do something to keep my brain occupied, and talking out loud, just like discussing what's on my mind, whether it's bodybuilding, cars, whatever, like it just helps me calm down. You know, everybody has a different coping mechanism, but it works for me.
Well, one thing I'll say is like, just because you have money and you're able to buy things and are successful, that doesn't mean that was your main intention of doing it. Actually, in my opinion, I feel like you're rewarded it with the abundance because your intention is more pure than that.
Yeah, that's the best way I'd word it.
People can feel the intention. They can, whether they know it or not. Like I can go through, at least me, that's why I don't scroll through social media anymore. I feel like it affects me too much. I can scroll through videos and I can feel the intention off of whatever the hell the person that's making the video is trying to do. Yes. And I'm very in tune with that kind of thing. And I feel like that's kind of what gravitates you towards more genuine people.
No, I agree with that completely. And everything's an ad nowadays, bro. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything's an ad. Every third video is an ad.
That's why I don't post many ads. Like the most direct I'll get with my coaching is like, I'll post something on my story with a link to my application, or like if I'm making a video about a client, then I'm obviously talking about my coaching, but I don't want to be like, sign up with me, lose 50 pounds in 3 weeks, some bullshit like V-Shred type stuff. No,
you don't want that. Absolutely not. And I mean, at the end of the day, Matt, I talked about this before. I've never paid for an ad before for coaching. My ad is like me talking about, oh, here's happy peak week. Oh, here's one day out. Here's what we did. Like, it's cool because not only does it help the general public see what is capable or what is possible in 12, 16, 20 weeks, whatever it is, but it also helps you get clients too. So it's a win-win. You get a following, you get to talk about something you're passionate about, and then you get clients from it. So it's a win-win situation in my eyes.
That's what I tell people who ask me, because people will ask me how I've built my business and stuff. And it's just like, I just literally posted what I knew. Yep. People came to me because of that. That's it. That's all it was. I never really, I mean, my business, when it started to really, really blow up, I never had advertised coaching. I was doing it still, but that's around the time where I didn't want to brand myself as a coach and I wanted to be branded as a bodybuilder still. So, which I still do, but I mean, it's a little bit different now too. But yeah, I just,
you can do both.
Yeah, you can do both. But like, you know how like you'll see somebody like, it's hard to kind of give an example for this. Terrence is the only person that had balanced that line so well that I know of, where he was like doing really well with coaching. He had a lot of pros under him, like, or he turned people pro, but he was also a high level bodybuilder. So he was seen as that. But I know a lot of people that like, they compete, they're still bodybuilders, but you only see them as a coach. TNF, he's a good bodybuilder. He's a natural bodybuilder. He competes, he still pushes himself. He's competitive in that way, but I feel like he still has the personality of just being a coach.
Yeah, I forget that he competes, and he has quite an amazing physique. It's not like it's bad. He looks great. Does he have he has his pro card, right? In Natural League?
I believe so, yeah.
He has his pro card.
But that's like one of those, like, that's what I don't want. I want people to see me as a bodybuilder just as much, you know? And that's why I went with Hostile too, when I was like having people offer me contracts and I was just waiting for Hostile to pick me up because I just felt like that would set me apart.
Yeah, that's like it's like Gaspari, bro. It's like a hardcore bodybuilding brand that's been there since how long his brand's been there. But I know it's very bodybuilding oriented. That is for sure.
2020, I believe.
Nice. Well, I got one final question for you, and then we were done. Okay. So, final question. This is I would ask anybody this. This is more general, by the way. But what advice would you give your younger self? It could be anything from financial tips to health tips. It could be a year ago. It could be 10 years ago. What is just one thing? Or could be a couple things you would tell yourself?
Dude, it's really going to just be learn to save money. Because I feel like as far as like everything else that I've gone through, I wouldn't change that. I think I'm fortunate to have struggled. But when it comes to money, that's always been something that I've had a big problem with. I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I moved out when I was young. I lived paycheck to paycheck for most of my life. I was always poor, like starving all the time, like barely able, like it was at the point where like when I was 16 years old, I was living on my own. I would be going to school and going to work at the same time. And I was making no money except for just to pay rent. So what I would do is I would pay my rent, and then I would like make sure I had like $1 to $2 in my checking. And then I would intentionally go negative to fill up my car with gas that I could get to and from work and school. And then I worked at Cafe Rio. So the only food that I ate for that whole time was Cafe Rio food that I was able to sneak. So when I started to make real money, I didn't know what to do with it. And I was used to being paycheck to paycheck. So I just would find something to spend it on all the time. And it became like an impulse. And I'm not good at keeping track of my spending either.
Just did it. Whatever made you happy, whatever you decide to buy.
Yeah. So because of that, it was hard for me to like kind of figure out and scale like when I started making real money and like how much I was spending of it. So I was having like $20,000 months and spending all of it. And I didn't know on what.
I was going to ask you, do you have something specific you were spending on? I know like food and, travel, but like anything?
No, because honestly, it wasn't very self-serving all the time either. Like there was periods of time where I would like I deserve to have like shoes. I've never had nice shoes. I'm gonna start buying Jordans and stuff or whatever. But like, I would help a lot of people more than I should, or I would pay for people more than I should. And I just kind of did that all the time too. It was not smart. I don't know. I can't even like really reflect back on like everything that I was doing. I know that when I was like really sick, I would order a lot of DoorDash, and I was spending like $2,000+ a month on DoorDash. So
which is probably like 30 orders.
Yeah, it adds up too. But this is something that people should know. You can make any amount of money. If you're not paying attention to it, you won't save any of it. Like, you have to actually pay attention to it. I literally have had $20,000 plus months that I've made and have spent all of it without knowing what it's being spent on.
Yeah, especially if you're a good friend too, man. You know, like if I guess my limit was like, I might buy my friend $100 pair of shoes when I'm not buying him something that costs $1,000. But in general, you know, if you're nice and like hooking your friends and family up, you could blow through it pretty quickly because you think you're the man, you know?
Dude, I did. And I would like, I would buy like shoes for my friends when I got into Jordans. Like, I bought my friend $600 pair of Jordans just because. Yeah. But it was like the feeling that I got when I gave them to him is why. Like, he never really got stuff like that, so he cried. Like, I thought it was cool. So like, I would just do stuff like that for people all the time, or like I would keep people fed all the time. I would always be the one to offer to pay for dinner or pay for whatever activities we're going to do. And that kind of, it does set you in a hole if you're not really paying attention to things. And then also I was like buying shoes for myself, or I was going on trips or like whatever it may be. But I just felt like, all right, if I made 20K this month, I'll make 20K next month. It doesn't matter that much, right? Yeah. So that was like a bad loop that I fell into. But I was always okay during it. I did have struggles and stuff, but it's just something that I don't want to. I would tell my younger self to be a lot more aware of that, because I did not have the means, or I was not taught, or I didn't have any role models when it came to that kind of thing. And it can be dangerous. You could be making $100,000 a month and blow through it without even knowing it if you're not paying attention. I feel like no matter how much money I make, I can get rid of it.
Yeah, no, you can. And I guess the only thing, because I mean, I know you're not blowing endless money, but I guess just one tip, connecting it to what I did. So I was actually the opposite. I didn't grow up as broke as you, to be honest. I was on Section 8, and like we had food stamp, but like I was never like, couldn't get my next meal, never that broke. But I would say that I was under the assumption, like my mom's an extreme couponer. Even though like I hook her up with anything she wants, she still loves getting deals. And that was just embedded in me. So I wouldn't buy something. Even to this day, if it's not on sale, I have trouble buying it. So there was a good like 3 or 4 years, maybe 2017 through 2021, I was making between 70 to 80K per year, not per month, per year, as I was getting into coaching. And I wouldn't spend $1, man. Like if it was like a $20 meal, I'd do it, but like I'd be scared to buy shoes. I had the same car since high school, which is like 7 years later. And like I eventually hired an accountant, and I was like, okay, hey, like here's how much you're making. They're like, okay, you're making $78,000 a year, and your expenses were $900 a month. What are you doing? What are you buying? It's like, oh, I chip in with rent, and I buy food, and I pay for my gym membership, and I pay for some Evogen supplements. And they're like, okay, so when is the big charges coming in? It's like, oh, they don't. So yeah, I was the opposite at some point. Like I would actually not buy things because I was scared to death of going broke. It was a really bad habit. Like I broke out of it now, but I wouldn't buy anything. If I saw
crazy, you could go like both extremes.
Wouldn't buy them. Yeah, I was the other extreme. I refused to buy because I was scared. What if I can't make that money next month? And like nowadays, I have a little bit of a different mentality. I know that my life could end at any moment if I do something bad that I shouldn't be doing. And I pretty much live it up as long as it's not affecting me too much. If I want it, I'll buy it. There's nothing else I want anymore, but hypothetically.
My poor spending habits have cost me friendships. And that's, I think, one of the biggest things that's gotten me really like more locked in with that too. I just don't want to like affect anybody with my financial irresponsibility. So yeah, that's a big one for me. And cars was a big thing for me too. I would buy cars all the fucking time.
Yeah, that can get you caught up. Don't ask me how I know, but that can get you caught up pretty quick. Yes.
Yeah, now I've got it in my head where it's like the next car that I buy, I want to buy my dream car still, but I'm going to pay it all the way off. I'm not going to buy a car unless I have the means to pay it all the way off.
Well, you got to look at it like this without getting too deep down. I won't take too much more of your time, but you got to think about it like this, man. Like you can finance it, put whatever half down, like take the money you were going to spend on that car and like invest in something else potentially. Option 1. Option 2 is I lease my Lamborghini. So like I have a lease to buy option, meaning that I have a contract saying I'm going to buy it when the lease is up. So I lease it. I get that tax credit and that tax deduction off the lease. And then I agree to buy the car at the end of the 3 years. That's very popular too. So there's things you can do like that, man. You don't have to buy it cash if you don't want to. You can. It would definitely make you feel better at the end of the day that you have nothing to look forward to. But in terms of like feel like you have to, no, you can lease things, lease to buy it.
I know it's just hard. It's hard to know because I mean that is a smart way of going about it. But like, I just know I'll get better as I go. I've been doing a lot better with it already. So maybe I'll be at a point where I feel more comfortable with that. But just knowing how I have been, I don't think I can trust it.
Yeah. No, it's not a good feeling when my car payment hits every month. I'll put it that way. You know, it'd be nice to be like, I have no car payment or no whatever it is. It'd be a good feeling.
And I don't have a great concept of time. That's mainly what it is. I will forget to pay the fucking bill.
Oh shit.
Even if I have all the means of doing so, but like, I won't, dude. I didn't even know like last month. I didn't know that it had turned to September until the 6th.
Oh shit.
So I've been trying to figure out ways, and this is because I'm self-employed and that's hard to navigate with time, whatever. But I'm trying to figure out ways to be a little bit more aware of time passing and stuff. I think that just comes from like not caring about holidays and birthdays, to be honest. Like I have nothing that I'm looking forward to throughout the year. It's just every day is a day.
I can confirm. If it's not on my calendar, I don't know what's going on. Don't know what holiday it is. Don't know what's going on in the world in other countries. I have no idea. If my phone says I have a call with Josh at 2, I'm going to hop on the phone at 2, and that's all I know.
Yeah, exactly. I just kind of go about the day like that. And now that I'm going to be getting back into competing again, I think that'll help a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to. You can't compete in a show and not be locked in. Well, you can, but it would be a shit show. So, yeah.
I got my overall that way. I hopped in, like I decided 6 weeks out that I was going to start eating food. And then I started like 2 weeks out. I was like, I should do some cardio. So I did do it that way, but I don't think
it clearly worked. You know, all jokes aside, it clearly worked.
But I'm not going to get a high level that way. So that's something I want to fix too now.
Yeah, man. Well, I thank you for taking time to speak to me about anything. Is there anything you want to ask me, or is that pretty much it? I mean, I think we covered anything, but anything you want to finish up on, then of course I'll ask you about your socials and whatnot, but any final topics or any final thoughts about anything?
Honestly, I don't think so. There was like, I was going to ask you the similar questions than what you asked me, but you kind of gave your piece on a lot of these too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just ask you, and I'm sure that a lot of people are still kind of curious about this too, with like, how do you fully feel about not competing anymore and just coaching? Because it's not something that you really have talked about as much as I've seen. And if you don't want to, that's okay. But I'm just curious to know.
I'm pretty open about anything. I will say, like, again, I don't usually have too many emotions. I've just always been a pretty numb person. As terrible as that sounds, my whole life, I've just never been a very emotional person. But I'd have to say that it definitely affects me deep down. Like it's always in the back of my head that I can't compete, but I guess I'm more so worried about eating the wrong thing and dying than I am about like competing. You know, like there's difference I have to be worried about, but in the back of my head, I definitely cope with it through talking about bodybuilding, coaching people with the bodybuilding, kind of just passing down my knowledge and like my passion to somebody else. Like I get a thrill when someone wins their show. I get a thrill when someone's like, oh, hey man, like, this was the best I ever looked. It looked like shit with my last coach. This is amazing. I loved everything about it. I love the communication. Like I get a thrill from that. Like I don't do my job for the money. I've talked about this before. And even if people think I'm lying, the money's great. I love it. But like I do it because I love this job. I can go do something else, you know, if I wanted to. But no, it's usually that. Like deep down, I'm not going to say it doesn't bother me because it does. Because in the back of my head, I even if I don't get a pro card, I would have liked to like put my full potential into competing, you know, one more time. But if I had the opportunity to, trust me, I will. I will pause coaching for a year, compete one last time and retire if I had the opportunity to. But I definitely just cope with working quite hard on other projects. The best way I could word it. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny that you say it that way too, because that's how I feel. I do still live vicariously through all of my clients as they're competing too. And it is a very similar feeling. You remind me a lot of DJ. When I was talking to DJ when we were out in Florida, he said the same thing too.
Pure Fit?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Great coach, by the way.
Yeah, he is. He's got most of the top fucking men's physique lineup.
Yes. But and he likes cars. I like him.
Yeah, he does. He's a car guy. He was telling me about all his cars too. He was saying that when he stopped competing, his last show that he did was the New York Pro, and I think it was 2016. And then he just decided that like he can do a lot more with his knowledge to help other people get further than where he's genetically capable of going, and he just lives through that way. So it's just funny that you kind of like said a very similar thing to him too. And that's what 100%. I was saying as well.
The only thing that he has over us is that he has his pro card. So he's always going to have that one thing that we're chasing. You know, it's always going to be in the back of my head like, damn, bro, how cool would it be to be a IFBB Pro and a IFBB Pro coach. You know, like they're just two different accomplishments, you know? Maybe
Oh, I
one
have
day we'll
lofty
achieve
goals,
it.
dude. I believe that I can be a top Olympian competitor while coaching other top Olympian competitors. That's some place that I want to take this, and I believe that I'm capable of doing it.
I had that same exact conversation with Jalen the other day. That's his dream. He wants to be an Olympia coach and an Olympia competitor. I was like,
Yep.
it's possible. I think you're going to have zero free time for the next 2 years, but if that's your dream, then do it.
Well, what
What's
is
stopping
free?
you?
Think about it. What is free time? What do we do in our free time? This is stuff that we enjoy. So that's our free time.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
So
I was just thinking like you're on a 2-hour cardio day, 0 carb day, and then you got to go do like a check-in day is what I meant. Like there's just little variables like that would be hard to deal with, but that's why we got nootropics. You know, that's why we got nootropics.
Well, it's also like why building such a good, reputable brand for your coaching is important too. You can be picky about the clients that you take, and you can take clients that work well with your situations. And I feel like even clients that would be technically considered difficult with their situations and trying to figure out how everything works for them and everything, it's still easier to coach them if they're 100% consistent. You don't have to chase them down for check-ins. You don't have to like, why did you only give me a 75% week this week or whatever? Like, because it gets to a point where you work with somebody for so long, you can make an adjustment to their plan and you can expect what's going to happen by their next check-in. And then you're right every single time because you just know how their body works. When you get clients like that, I don't really think that it requires that much brain power anymore. Yeah, everything is already there. You already know it. So being able to be selective in my client base in a way with that is going to help me quite a bit.
No, I agree with that completely. Yeah. And that's, but yeah, in terms of long-term, my dream would be to compete again. If I can, I can. If I can't, then I can't. I would love to just have coaches under me. And that's just the empire I want to have. That's the dream. So we'll see how the next year or two goes for sure.
Cool. Well, I think it'd be cool to see you compete again at least once for fun, even.
Yes. I have a very addictive personality. I would tell myself once, I'd be like, hey, Josh, I'm actually on a gram of tren and like 16 units of growth hormone. So I'll see you at the Olympia 2027.
Imagine though, you could do it.
I could. I'd be able to afford the good shit. But nonetheless, thank you for talking for the last hour. Hopefully you guys learned something. You know, hopefully guys, anybody out there going through something, just know it could get better. You have to not quit and continue to suffer through it sometime before it gets better. But is there anything that for anybody who could follow you, your Instagram, TikTok, coaching website, anything for you to plug really quick, or any discount codes, anything at all?
Yeah. All of my stuff that I can plug is like all of my socials. It's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is all Art of Aesthetics. I plan on posting more on YouTube coming in soon. So that's where I kind of want to allocate most of my time and attention to. So follow me on all of those. And then as far as like codes go, the only company that I'm with right now is Hostile. So Hostile code AOA. We actually just had a drop recently with a bunch of new clothes. So it's honestly a lot. We're doing a lot of clothing brand stuff lately. So
nice. And it's bodybuilding friendly for all the bodybuilders out there. So, I mean, they got it all, but I know that they love bodybuilders.
When I was 250 pounds, it was really hard to find oversized t-shirts, and I like oversized t-shirts, and Hostile has a lot of those that actually fit well and they're comfortable. So if you're a big dude and you want oversized clothes, that's one of the very few places you can get it.
Perfect. Well, we got that covered. I think that's pretty much all I have in mind. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm sure we'll have a new episode almost every week if everything goes good. But all right, guys, Team Dial to the moon.